Thank you so much for joining me today. How you doing? Why U.S. vacation policies are so much worse than Europe's? That's the question on my mind today. And CNBC has the answer. Go check them out. They're a small and up-and-coming YouTube channel. CNBC, link down below. Vacation policies. You know what's funny? When I first entered the workforce, I always thought 2 weeks vacation, that's pretty standard here in America for like a decent, for most jobs. I'll say most full-time jobs. Part-time jobs, no vacation. You're already part-time. You don't get any vacation. But for full-time jobs, 2 weeks paid vacation is pretty normal. And I thought that was pretty good. Actually, it's really like 1 week to 2 weeks. 1 week for like, minimum wage jobs, up to 2 weeks. It's a range. And I always thought 2 weeks, it's like, wow, 2 weeks, that's pretty good. That's just, the mindset I always had growing up is, in any one given year, you go on one week vacation. That's it. That's what you get. You get the 1 week off work, go on vacation. That was my mindset. So 2 weeks, it's like, damn, 2 weeks? What are you going to do with the second week? It's not like anyone can afford to go on another vacation or a 2 week long vacation. I guess you could just like sit at home. That can be fun. But yeah, that was my mindset always. And then I found out some of these European countries are like 4 weeks vacation. What do you guys do?
The United States is the only advanced economy that does not guarantee paid time off.
Hell
no
yeah.
Federal law saying that you have to provide a certain number of vacation days.
Hell yeah, America. Why do we need time off?
And you have entire cultures like, France is a good example.
How are we going to be productive if we're vacationing? You need to be productive in the factory line.
Where pretty much everybody takes August off, and it's just part of the culture.
August,
you don't really see
the
that
entire month?
here in the United States.
So when I came to France and I noticed that vacation is a way of life, people are constantly talking about their vacations. August 15th is actually considered the emptiest day in Paris.
Europeans in general will say, you Americans live to work, we Europeans work to live.
Even though a majority of Americans do have some kind of paid time off,
I would say that's for sure true. Like here in America, one of the best pieces of advice you can get is to do work that you are passionate about or that you enjoy, if you can, because that's what you're going to be spending your life doing, really. That's at least the mindset. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much what it's all about. You better enjoy your work because that's what you're going to be doing with your waking hours for the most part.
a little less than half actually take all of their available vacation time.
On average,
I never took any. I barely have ever taken any vacation time. I just take because they pay it out at the end of the year. That's actually interesting to think of too. Yeah, I think typically in a year, I've taken 5 days vacation.
4 days a year per individual being left on the table as it relates to vacation days.
Something I noticed in America, yeah, we have vacation days, but do people actually go on vacation?
There's a certain fear. We don't have any legal
Well, it's one thing to have vacation days, but then you got to pay for the vacation. That's the other aspect of it. It's like, damn.
protection.
Yeah, we got the vacation days, guys, but we can't afford the vacation.
And so people have been fired for taking vacation time.
I'm a workaholic by my very nature, right?
That's actually an interesting point, too. I wonder what the process is like in companies in Europe as far as requesting vacation. Because here in America, for a lot of jobs at least, this once again it differs. But you're not guaranteed to get the vacation just because you request it. And you can only request, maybe you have 2 weeks vacation in a year, but you can't request more than a week off at any given time. They might be like, no, we can't have you. Too many people are taking vacation that month. We can't have you taking more vacation.
The things that I used to struggle with early on in my career was I didn't want to leave because I was afraid that people would think I wasn't needed. I was going to lose the air of indispensability, is what they call it, right? And in reality, that doesn't happen.
More workers taking a vacation can help the overall economy. If Americans use the nearly 770 million abandoned vacation days to travel in 2019, it could have injected more than $150 billion into the U.S. economy and created 2 million American jobs.
Paid vacations increase productivity, they increase employee well-being.
How can it be? How can it be? How can it increase productivity if you're away vacationing, enjoying your life? Probably because when you get back to work, you don't want to forever sleep anymore. You know what I mean? Like you actually are probably refreshed and might get some work done.
It's also not rocket science. I think most of the evidence suggests that it more than pays for itself.
So why aren't Americans going on vacation? And what can we learn from our European counterparts in France?
Tell me.
Europe has taken a different policy approach to paid vacation time than the U.S.
Hi, my name is Fatima, and I'm
don't
an American
say.
that has been living in Paris for about 6 or 7 years now. In France, you find less of that, hustle culture mentality, but it does exist. I think there's this stereotype that the French are not like hard workers, but in actuality, you're gonna find people or industries where it's expected that they stay in late. It's expected that they work on the weekend.
In the European Union, the floor is 20 days of paid vacation. That's on top of other sorts of paid leave, like paid sick leave, paid new parent leave.
20 days paid vacation? Paid time off by country. Damn, 20 days is a lot. I should know this by now, but it always blows my mind. France is 30 days? 30 days. And if that's 5 days, that's 6 weeks.
Leave, that sort of thing. And here we have basically nothing.
France provides a minimum of 30 paid vacation days per year. There are also many European countries that have paid holidays, which pushes them past France for most paid days off.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Spain. What is that, 39 days, 38 days?
The reason EU workers have these vacation benefits is regulation. The European Union Working Time Directive, which was passed in the early 1990s, requires at least 20 working days of paid vacation in all EU countries. France has gone as far as implementing right to disconnect laws, which regulate after-hour contact between employers and workers in an attempt to protect workers' right to rest.
I think the reason why French people take their vacation
That makes sense. That is so important, especially, oh my God, with the advent of cell phones and stuff. It just doesn't even make any sense sometimes. People are working, and it's like a lot of people don't even realize that. It's like, hey, you should you shouldn't really be corresponding with anyone about work if you're not on the clock. Okay, unless that's part of your contract as an employee there. Why are you working when you're not at work?
vacations is because there are really, really strong workers' rights and workers' protections through, the contracts that are set in stone.
France prioritizes leisure time so much that the country established a public agency called the National Agency for Holiday Vouchers, which helps people who may not have the funds to go on vacation.
What?
So everyone knows
They pay for your vacation?
France is, on vacation in August,
No
which
way.
means that come September 1st, that's when everyone returns. And so in France, they have this thing called la rentrée, which basically means everything's back in session. Businesses close for a couple weeks. I'm talking about your local boulangerie, some restaurants.
So you gotta stock up in France. Is that right? Like for August? You gotta stock up because everywhere is gonna be closed. You gotta stock up on food. It's like the whole economy shuts down. Is that right? I'm sure some grocery stores stay open. Yeah. They have to. Or else people would be out there starving.
Some stores, it really does range. Some offices even say, okay, we're closed for, a week or two. So our employees must take their vacation at this time as well. I do not think that the fact that these businesses or stores close actually affects the quality of life. Because at the end of the day, in France, it's really about this idea of working to live, not living to work.
The US is quite unique. We have no federal law saying that you have to provide, a certain number of vacation days. We have no state laws that say you have to provide a certain number of vacation days to your employees. It doesn't mean that nobody gets paid vacation. It just means that it's up to the employer and the worker.
Nearly 80% of full-time private sector workers in the U.S. have access to some sort of paid time off for leisure. But when you dig into those numbers, there's a huge disparity about which Americans actually get it. Only 43% of leisure and hospitality workers have paid vacation time, while more than 90% of those in sectors such as manufacturing, financial activities, and information services do. Even if the U.S. did mandate paid vacation time for workers, cultural attitudes may prevent people from actually using it. 46% of U.S. workers say
That's definitely true. And then there's the other aspect where it's like, by going on vacation, in some lines of work, you might feel bad, You might be like, oh, I'm leaving my coworkers out to dry while I'm vacationing on the beach. They're back here and now they've got more work because I'm gone. But that's an issue that would be anywhere else in the world too. So I wonder what people think about that.
say they don't use all of their time off. Nearly half of those employees worry they might fall behind on their work if they take time off, with nearly 20%.
That's true too. It's like you take a vacation, but that just means you have to do, all that work ahead of time. It's typically what it means. It's not like, oh, okay, well, depending on your job, once again.
Percent thinking it could hurt their career growth, and 16% saying they fear losing their job. And more than 40% of workers say they feel badly about their colleagues taking on their workload if they were to take time off.
I think in the US, there's this idea that you have to basically fight for your job. Even if you've been in that job for like 5-10 years, you're constantly fighting for your place. You're constantly fighting for your right to stay there.
Some Americans also
I've always been of the opinion that getting fired is way, way more difficult than people think it is. You know what I mean? You have to, unless they're just laying off people in a company, then that's a different thing. But as far as getting fired, for the most part, you have to really screw up because it's a massive inconvenience for the company to fire somebody, then have to go through a whole hiring process, which costs them money, and then a whole training process, all to get somebody they don't even know if they're better than you, and at this point, you are already ingrained in their company and understand their processes and stuff. So, I always keep it real. I have to disagree there a little bit. I don't think, maybe people think they have to fight for their job, but I don't think they actually do for the most part. If you're good at your job. Assuming you're good at your job. I'm not talking about people who are just like stupid and don't do their job. That's different. If you do your job, I think it's pretty hard to get fired. My opinion. Always has been.
also can't afford to
Unless you get laid off. That's different.
take a trip, especially amid rising costs across the board due to inflation. 56% of U.S. adults said they didn't think they could afford to take vacation last year because of inflation. 1 in 3 decided to scale back their vacation instead of skipping it altogether, and the average respondent's budget was around $1,200. More than 35% of the American workforce are free.
Yeah, it's crazy how $1,200
Budget,
especially after inflation, like they've been talking about. This was 9 months ago. Yeah. Inflation, $1,200. That's going to get you like 3 nights at the Holiday Inn. And I'm serious. That's probably about right. And that's not counting actually, doing anything. So if you've got a family, $1,200, it's so unfortunate because that's a lot of money. $1,200. And you can barely even freaking take a vacation with that. Now you can, of course. There's ways to save a lot of money, budgeting, and, you can look up tips on how to take a real budget-friendly vacation and stuff, and that's cool, but just for the typical kind of vacation, that's a tough budget. And that's the average budget.
Around $1,200. More than 35% of the American workforce are freelancers, which means if they take vacation,
How much?
More than 35% of
Wow, I'm shocked that it's that many people. 35%? More than a third of the country is freelancers?
the American workforce are freelancers, which means if they
That means they don't get any vacation time.
take vacation, it's on their dime. Freelancers struggle with work-life balance, with 92% saying they feel pressure to work on vacation. The flexibility of picking their own hours
Work on vacation. F that, dude. No. No. Maybe some other people feel that. I never have, never would. That's insulting. Hell no, I'm not working on vacation. No. Simple. No. Not happening. I might as well be dead to you. Pretend I don't exist. I don't. I'm in a coma. Don't talk to me.
and remote work may counteract the low vacation time. More than half of freelancers that get their work from Fiverr say they travel while working.
Okay.
So this is pickleball?
Vacation is generally good for the economy.
In 2022, there were 2 million trips taken, spending almost $840 billion.
It is interesting how the individual being like prudent and, saving money, what might be good for your economic situation is actually bad for the economy of the rest of the world and the country. That's an interesting dichotomy there, isn't it?
That really equates to a significant economic contribution to communities across the country. It also supports 7 million American jobs. Pre-pandemic, the U.S. travel industry employed just as many people as the U.S. auto industry. And that's very significant when you look at that comparison and you think about how that economic impact really does affect communities across the country.
Vacation is good for us.
Of course, you got the tipping screen
Really
here.
does,
I just have to take a look at this
affect
tip.
communities across the country.
Boom! You're paying for something for $2.95 and they want a tip. I know that's just like stock video, but I'm still amused by this. You're trying to get me to tip $2 on a $2.95 purchase.
Vacation is good for us in many ways, and one of those is health, both physical health and mental health.
Taking vacation time is linked to a lower risk of heart disease as well as increased productivity. It can also promote better mental health and has shown a reduction in stress, depression, and anxiety.
Really, taking vacation reduces stress and anxiety. You heard it here, folks. First, folks. You heard it here, folks, first.
Found a fairly significant link between people taking time off and people taking advantage of their mental health resources.
Vacation days can help companies manage their operations better. Paid time off for fun gives employees the opportunity to plan ahead and encourages them not to call out sick at the last minute when they want to take time off. One study found that
Okay. It's funny how it feels like we need to justify it. And I don't even know how. Part of this sounds kind of like, okay, yeah, sure. But it's like, why do you need to justify people taking vacation? How about because it's their life we're talking about? We're talking about their life. Maybe they shouldn't spend their entire life at work. Maybe they should get to enjoy part of their life, and that should be part of the contract of their job.
11%.
Like, it's great that it's more, blah, 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 but it's just like, really?
Of workers said they were planning to miss work the day after the Super Bowl, with nearly half of those workers saying they were either going to call in sick the day of or just not show up and not give their job any warning.
See, those are the kind of people who might get fired. If you don't show up and don't call, no show, okay, you might get fired.
Vacation can also help workers be more productive. Workers in countries that prioritize vacation more than the U.S. were more likely to work at a faster pace and have better focus.
I think people have a stereotype of France in their mind as this kind of lazy culture, right? But if you look
I really don't. I never really thought, I never heard that.
at the employment rate there for prime age workers, so basically 25 through 54, it's higher than in the US. So they have more people working and they're much more productive per hour.
Wow, look at that. They're more productive per hour. Why is Japan so low on this list? That makes me kind of like skeptical, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. Just in general, Japanese culture is pretty hardworking. I think that we all, like, that's pretty self-evident. So how is it pitifully low? Or am I reading this? No? Yeah, it's labor productivity and utilization per hour. Maybe there's just something I don't know about Japan. But I don't think that we're 9 times more productive, and I don't think France is 18 times more productive than Japan. So this is strange to me. Just saying. Also, why is Germany way down here, but France is way up here? And like the UK is way up here. I don't know what this chart means. I mean, I know what it means. I know I understand what it's saying, but it's okay.
Companies in the US have been experimenting with different PTO packages to encourage employees to take vacation. One policy proposal is unlimited paid time off. While this may sound
Sign me up!
good in theory, it doesn't always work out in practice. Early adopters reported that employees took less time off than before the policies were implemented. Another policy is mandatory
Wouldn't be me.
vacation time, where workers are required to take a certain number of days off. This ensures that employees take time to rest at least once a year. Whether or not
Interesting.
vacation culture will change in the US is still uncertain.
In the July 31st New York Times 1910, there's a headline that says, "How much vacation time does a man need?" President Taft says 3 months. This is
3 months? Is that really what he said? Everyone should have 3 months. Wow, that would be like that's like a whole different world. 3 months.
This is over a century ago. Why don't we get it?
Taft said it over a century ago. Come on, guys. Taft said it.
That's 3 months. This is over a century.
I'm pretty sure this guy is Taft. Hold on, look at this. Look at the eyes.
Vacation time does a man need? President Taft says 3 months. This is over a
Yeah, that's President Taft. That's why he's. I see what he's saying.
century ago. Why don't we get it?
No, I agree with his point, and yeah, overall, pretty toxic vacation policies and culture here in America. Must say. That's pretty obvious. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys are doing good. I'll see you guys tomorrow.